Welcome everyone to MAAF. These are some short slides to welcome you and present a bit of an overview for the module. There are a couple of key takeaways you should get from these slides. This should help you bring together the different topic areas, and as you embark on the module, things should become a bit clearer for you. Some candidates are into the MAAF space, but many of you will not be. So let's understand a couple of important features about MAAF. Firstly, there are no set rules, and that's great news for many of us. Now, a good example of this is a budget. Most organisations complete a budget and often going through a lengthy process to do so. There are significant differences amongst organisations with the process and the guidelines that are followed in their budget preparation and completion to approval. There is no one set of rules to follow for a budget. Each of the organisations can establish for themselves the rules and the processes that they follow. Secondly, knowing your business and the industry you're operating within is crucial. There will be unique points about the business and the industry. The more the management accountant understands about these, the stronger they are in a position to support good decision making for the business. What is the focus of management accounting? In the next couple of slides, we're attempting to summarize and categorize the focus into four main areas. The first one is understanding costs, and the second one is about budgets, and the third one on the next slide is about organizational performance, and the fourth one is on finance. So in understanding costs, we're saying what drives the costs, what can be done to reduce the cost. That's a common question that businesses ask. What can be done to reduce the cost? So that cost factor, understanding costs, is one of these pillars that some of the topic areas can fall under in the MAAF module. Now the second area of focus is about budgets. And budgets are still a critical process for many organizations and a critical document. Over time that they've changed a little bit in terms of the focus of the budget, and there's new terminology that comes up such as rolling forecasts and the concept of beyond budgeting, but many organizations still see as a critical part of their documentation and critical part of their business is establishing a budget. Organizational performance, for us that includes the terms of key performance indicators, KPIs, balance scorecard, and these are topic areas within the MAAF module. Others that fit under here is EVA and various forms of ratio analysis. And so these topics come under this pillar or this category of what we've tried to classify as organizational performance. And that final pillar or category is those finance topics, how the organization is funded, the expansion, investment decisions that are within the organization. And some formulas are very critical to the organization in these, such as the WACC, such as net present value, discussion around beta, and these sort of things, together with various risk profiles. So that comes under this pillar of finance, and they're essentially from units 11 through to 15, and also includes part of the unit 14, which is about risks. And underpinning the four pillars that we discussed in the previous slide are these four areas of ethics, strategy, risks, and analysis. As CAs, ethics needs to be at the forefront of our considerations, whether it's to do with cost structures, budgets, performance measurements, or finance decisions. These also need to be driven by our consideration of strategy. We're always asking the question about risk. We can't eliminate risk, but how to mitigate or reduce our risk. So that's underpinning these four pillars that we've discussed about costs, about budgets, about organizational performance, about finance. And finally, their analysis. Management accountants don't just come up with a set of numbers. We need to add insight. We need to add value. We need to be supportive of the decision-making process that's going about the organization. All part of the analysis and the analytical thinking. We don't just state that sales have gone up or that costs have gone down and profits increased. We're saying, well, what are the connections? What are the linkages in this organization? within the organization and to other outside influences. Analysis is not simply restating the numbers. It is telling the story behind the numbers. And this is an area where some candidates struggle a little bit with. They're so used to generating numbers that they forget that it's important in the word analysis to look at beyond the numbers, beyond the calculations. Now we may be able to answer the question, why have things moved? Why has there been a movement? Why has sales gone up? Why has costs been driven down? We may not always have the answer, but there may be a range of possibilities. If we don't have the answer, we may be needing to investigate a bit further. So this is the end of the short slides and discussion around the welcome and overview of MAAF, and here's hoping you're going to enjoy the journey.